So as we head towards 5G, as we head towards all these new technologies and everything, the infrastructure is slowly becoming in pace. So as you just talked about, like technology kind of just goes in these boom cycles. Like it's just like new innovation comes out, new innovation comes out. So for example, like the idea of a smartphone existed for a while.
Right.
It's just that we didn't have the capability. Like people are like, why would I search the internet on here when I have a laptop? It's because it wasn't fast enough. It would cost a lot of money, the infrastructure and all that kind of thing. So what do you think is going to happen the second 5G hits, like actual like mass scale around the world? Like there's, for example, the Rams Stadium, they're planning to integrate 5G. There's other stadiums that are trying to integrate 5G. Verizon's doing this huge ad push right now about like how they're leading in 5G and how they're partnering with NFL stadiums. And then T-Mobile's on the opposite side of baseball. They're trying to do all the baseball stadiums are going to be connected with 5G and they're going to be 5G ready. That's their thing, 5G ready.
Right.
So what do you perceive as happening after 5G hits? Like what kind of technologies do you perceive might come into actual reality? What do you think is actually going to happen?
Right. Yeah, that's a great question. I think that, as 5G hits, I think that we're already, connected we're already connected as we kind of go through these experiential events, like events and stuff like that, or when we think of maybe our friends or our family, and as 5G hits, the idea is that it'll be even faster, it'll be more efficient, it'll be a better experience, right? So I think that from this integration, one thing that I'll start to see that happens is that there are ways for people to reach the next step, which is it's so easy to be kind of siloed and think that like, we have all these technology and stuff like that, but then you go into the other side of the world and there's all these underdeveloped nations. There are all these people that don't even have the basic means of communicating with one another. So as 5G hits, I think that this will start to vamp up and give people the opportunity to reach out kind of to the next side of the world, which is having ways to communicate with them, being able to engage with them, and also have opportunities for them to kind of have the same lifestyle that we live in our kind of first world nation. So I think that's kind of the wave I'm thinking of, is reaching those underdeveloped nations. Nice.
Do you think, to kind of tie on to that, I've read a lot of interesting articles, for example, about Africa, about India, and about how once 5G hits, that their economy is actually going to like just skyrocket because of the fact that they're actually skipping over these generations of infrastructure, and they're going straight into something that pushes out gigabytes per second. Like I don't think a lot of people comprehend the speed that 5G is going to create. So, for example, a lot of people might have 100 megabytes per second right now in their house, and you can stream stuff pretty easily, but at like gigabytes per second, you can have VR worlds that are just streaming perfectly.
Right.
And AR and technologies and all these new technologies. What do you think is actually going to happen to developing countries, India, Africa, that are growing at a fast pace right now already? What do you think that 5G might happen? Like, what is it going to do?
That's an interesting question as well. I think that when I look at these nations like India and Africa, I think that there are a few problems that go on. That there's a lot of poverty, there's a lot of disconnection. There's not a means where there's a lot of like you mentioned infrastructure there. So I think that as 5G hits, there'll be a lot of I think there'll be more of a spur of businesses. I think that when working at PayPal, where our goal is to kind of democratize financial services for underdeveloped nations, right? So I think that goes side by side with 5G's goal, is to start to be able to have it where maybe SMBs can have like maybe a way to scale, reach out to different people, kind of develop their develop digital advertising. Just try to not be more of a local thing, but more of a scalable way to reach other people. Kind of through my limited understanding of 5G.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, it's just an interesting conversation to have, and I love talking to people that are more technical about it, because 5G in its space it's very unique. It's every G that goes up, it drastically changes the way, like I'm thinking about technology infrastructure, allows for new capabilities. So looking at for example, India, looking at places such as Africa, like for example, Nigeria is growing very, very quickly as a country. And with these infrastructures, as you brought up, like small businesses actually now have the opportunity of infrastructure to create like massive e-commerce businesses or massive infrastructure changes. Obviously, you still need your infrastructure within the country, so you need your transportation systems, your railways, your airports. But at least on a technology standpoint, now you can do business with anybody around the world in real time and scale just massively. So, because I read a really interesting article about how in the last, I think it's the last decade, there's been more billionaires created than like the previous like century because of like technology shifts, e-commerce, all that. So we'll see what's going to happen once 5G hits.
Right. Absolutely. I agree.